Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's October the 7th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And again, it looks like another range day. We've really had four tiers, four equal tiers of this thing. Early on, I was looking at this with this being the midpoint, but you can see that we ended up making another measured leg down, or tier down, and we spent the afternoon really inside these the lower two uh, halves of this three-tiered trading type range. There was it looked like a nice two-tiered downward channel working here. We got a break right here. We attempted to make a new low. We didn't get it. Now we're attempting again to continue. And my guess is we'll probably get a new low. I would look for a measured leg down equal to this one here, and that puts us down around just north of 1938. So that's what I'm expecting we will probably see before it's over. But we've had a hard time really getting through this support area. And if we actually do get through there, we could see something, more like this, with this being leg one, and then leg two being from here down. And that puts us down probably 1935 area or so. So I would look for the first target based off this one first, and if we continue lower, that would be my next target, 1935. Let's just see what that is exactly. So yeah, 35 and a quarter, that's what I'd be looking for my target at this point. Just put a line down there so we can get this there. That would be my target at this point right there. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll reach it before this lesson's over, and we'll just kind of see if we get there or not. We can back out a little bit so it's a little easier to see everything. The first trade actually this one I meant to have this one circled right here. Forgot to circle it though. All right. When we came in, we had this little channel working down. We had a break with two legs up, and then we started down. A real aggressive trader might have thought about going short right there. I think you have to wait, and then you had this move down, then you bounced, and you got a second entry short right there. It's not a perfect setup, but this thing went out one side, up the other, and then back down. So I liked it to the short side. You don't know that you're going to get this big move, but you're thinking, now I'll get a scalp out of this thing without any problem. And you get two legs down for the most part, and then you get your break, and then you get another push lower past that. So nice setup right here to get short. And notice this right here, even though this made a new low, this is like a failed second entry long. First entry, pull back, second entry, a little double, triple top kind of thing, and a nice bearish bar. So I like going short right there. It's right off that trend line too, if you drew it right down through those closes. And even on a smaller scale, notice that move down, move up. There's like it goes up. There's like a two-legged correction in there. So there's a couple of different reasons to like going short there. And I didn't like going short on this one because it's so close to that low, and we've had two measured legs down. So what they do is they trap people, and then they bounce it. And then you get a second entry short here. You might have thought about going short below that bar, but I think it's too risky. But when you see this big bearish bar, it's a little bit bigger than I like. Let me make this to be going short way down here on a stop. And it's obvious that a lot of other people thought that because you get this little kind of a trading range bar right here. So what you want to do is probably just let it break lower and drop a limit order in there, a tick or two back, and you could have gotten filled on this thing several ticks back into it. Then it turns right back down again. But it's such a bearish bar, and it is a second entry that you might have considered a stop here, but really, you've already missed a couple of ticks in this thing, so it's a little bit risky going short way down here on a stop. So just try, most likely use a limit order, but you know, again, I'm okay with a stop there. It's if you get stopped out, you're probably going to take a full 2 point. But hey, sometimes you just got to take that risk because sometimes these trades will take off, like this one right here. They don't ever look back, and if you try being too conservative, you will miss some really good trades. And you're definitely looking for a new low here. So because that's really the first closes outside of this little short-term trend line coming down. So there's a second entry short there, but you can't go short into that support because it could bounce there. Would have worked, but I don't think you can go short there. And you get another second entry short here, but now you've got the break of this, a new low, and you're rallying up out of here, and you're kind of getting back above the EMA. You're not getting a lot of resistance. So just kind of sit and notice if you went short here, it probably worked. Let me just see if it worked. So, and that's kind of tempting because it's a very bearish bar, and entry would have been 42.50. So yeah, it would have been a 4-tick failure if you went short there with it on a stop. You would have had to use the limit order, and then it would have worked. But I just don't think you can go short there because you've got your break. You've got two. There's one leg, a little correction, second leg. There's two measured legs down to a new low. You had a nice little bounce out of there. Things got above the EMA, and you got a bunch of bars stacking up there. If you went short here, and this thing wouldn't go lower here, I would have taken my tick and gotten out. Just no other way around that. I think I would have taken my tick and got out. But if you didn't go short there, your next thought would have been here, and you never got a trigger before you got another inside bar. Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars stacked up there. You're better off just to sit tight. And so when it breaks lower and fails and turns up, you've got a failed second entry short now. Just go long right there. And you figure you're going to get another leg up just like that one in a minimum. And you get that, maybe even a little bit more. Let's just measure it and see. Just eyeball it. Looks like you got a little bit more than a measured move there. There we go. You can see that we got a few ticks more, and then it backs up. There's a second entry long basically right here, and you got a leg down, a little move up, a leg down, and so those matching highs when it breaks above, that's like a second entry. I don't think you want to go long there. I think when it turned down there and then went back higher, maybe, but again, you're right there near that high, and you should have had this trend line drawn by now, though, off here. And so you might be thinking, hey, we're not quite up there yet. And so this is an iffy trade. It's just look at all those overlapping bars, a lot of stems in there. I just don't think you want to go long right there, especially after two legs up, because there's a good chance it breaks higher and traps you and turns down. But looks like it would have worked if you took it. But I just think you're better off to wait. And then you get your close outside here. First entry, pull back. There's actually a second entry long right here. So you could have gone long right there, but again, look at all the stuff stacked up. So I would have waited. I would have just waited. You're looking for a retest of this high, and at the very least, you're looking for prices to turn down off of this line if they're going to turn down. So when it tried to go lower again right here, and that would be tempting to go short. And so again, if you went short right there, and this thing started stacking up and they started getting these stems, that's not a good sign. That thing should have went straight on down if it was going, or at least it should have, you should have gotten some bars closing down here instead of all those stems. So I actually did go short right there, and when it couldn't go any lower, I just took I think I took a tick off of it, and I'm glad I did, because then it reverses and gives you the trap, and you just go long. Okay, I had a slight interruption, but we were talking about this trade here. So if you did go short there, because I went short, looking back at it, it was a dumb move, but it's such a great setup. You got a failed second entry long. You got that big bearish bar. There's not much room, and there's a lot of support there. And looking back at it, Probably not such a great move. But what you got to do is recognize when it starts bouncing once, twice, and then a third time there, you better exit because once it breaks higher, then you got the failed second entry short, and you're looking for a retest of that high anyway. And so, you got to exit that thing, and that's what I did. And just take the long there and quick, easy move. And this was a very nice move. But what it is, they trapped a lot of people short there, including me. So, and I'm guessing maybe some of you guys too. So, but you could have gone long there, and if you went long there, you might have had to exit as well. But if you put your stop where it's supposed to be and you were following the rules, which says you're looking for a long anyway, this trade works out and you don't have any problem. Um, and if you don't enter there, definitely enter here on the trap. And you shouldn't be going short there, even if you were dumb like me and you think you're smarter sometimes and you're thinking that looks so bearish, it's probably going lower. And and we did come off the trend line, but you can't ignore this little channel right here, and you just can't ignore it. And sometimes you don't get a retest with a new high, but you will at least probably retest the strong resistance area and get a turn down. So if it would have turned back down here, then you might have looked for a short. But no, it went through there like it wasn't even there, like hot butter, and it just went straight up. And guess where it finds resistance? Right there at that same place it's been finding resistance earlier. And this is also, notice you can't see it for the blue line, but underneath there's the red thin line. That's the close from yesterday. Or I'm sorry, the low from yesterday. And that's going to be an important area. And that's where we ended up finding some resistance on that move up. So nice long there. Now you got your break, a move to a new high. Sometimes you get two legs, sometimes you don't, but that's a huge move up. Um, so uh, you might have thought about going long there. It's not a bad setup. It's not a great one either. If you went long here, I definitely would have used a limit order. And you see, it would have gotten filled. It broke higher, and it comes back in here. But I don't, with that break and the move higher, and now we're looking for a retest of this low. I don't like going long right there, to be honest with you. And I don't think you can go short right there yet either. So wait on the second entry that comes right here. And this was a nice move down. Then you get a failed second entry long here. And of course, you're expecting to find some support there because you had it before. But this is like a little breakout pullback short. The main thing is a failed second entry long. Notice that little gap right there, and this comes back and fills it, and then it turns back down. So I liked adding on there, or if you exited right here, which probably would have been smart, you could get back in right there. And it moves on down a little lower, and then you get your correction, and you get another second entry short right here. Um, Notice the new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. Still not quite big as I'd like it. It's maybe hard to see some of that. And it didn't quite close on its low, but doesn't matter. You're expecting prices to go lower. And you've tested that twice, once, then twice. So it's a failed second entry long. It's a double top. It's a double test of this, what was support acting as resistance again. Several different reasons. Coming right off the trend line. Everything's closing inside that trend line, working down through there. So I like going short right there. And nice quick short. And then you get another second entry here. I drew this one in green because it's not a very good setup, and then this is not a very good signal bar either. But it did get back inside this line, and it is holding. Aggressive traders probably going to let it break below that and then drop a limit order and try to get filled. And you could have, because I watched it. And you have a couple of legs down to a new low, and then you reverse. And I don't think you want to go long right in here yet. It's still a little risky because you may get a measured leg like that one here, so you may get trapped or something. But then then you get a first entry, pull back a second entry, and it breaks lower here and turns and goes out the upper side. You might have tried to use a limit order, and you see it did come back, but I kind of just liked using a stop there because there's probably going to be some people trapped on that big bearish bar. And It does pull back and fills your, notice that new low, first entry pullback. There's a second entry short right there, and it turns. And of course, you got this trend line moving up too. So actually, this is supposed to be blue. I'm sorry. And this one's supposed to be blue. Very confusing. I apologize. Trying to get through this today, and but no, this you should be looking for a long here, not a short, because you got a little trend channel working up, and that's the first break outside, the close outside, and that one's even questionable whether it closed outside. It's real borderline, and it turns up, but it went lower first, so I like going long right there, and you get another chance to add on. Look at that bounce. When this one didn't break higher, it kind of worried me a little bit, but those matching highs make this a second entry, and you see it moved on up, and then you just kind of, now you got your break, you got a couple of legs up to a new high, you see it starting to find resistance. Just wait. I didn't like going short out of this stuff here, and you don't want to go short way down here. So wait and see if it pulls back and you get that trap, and it does. Just go short right there. Quick, easy move. And I think that's the last one that I marked today. You did get a break here. You got a second entry short here. We'll go ahead and talk about these. You're looking for a new low now, so you could go short there. And when you got the failed second entry long, you definitely could go short again right there too. So there's your two more, and they're still finding. Notice that we just can't get support as it comes back up here. It gets back below, and you're getting resistance. And I'd probably move that to right about there. And nice move down, and it looks like we probably got our new low now. Let's back out. Yep, look at there. We got our break and two legs down. We probably got our measured move off this first one. I'm guessing we got this measured move that we talked about at the beginning of the video. And you can see we did. We went a little bit further, and I'm guessing we're going to end up getting a move down to here. We will see, but that would be my guess. So, but we do have a double bottom in here. We got a first entry pullback. We got a failed second entry long right now. So if it turns down, they'll probably run it on down there to where the bigger target is. Be my guess. We'll see. They could trap some people here and correct it a little bit. I'm kind of surprised we didn't come back and test this line first, which may be what they're trying to do before they take it lower. We'll see. But that's what I saw today. Pretty straightforward day. Everything followed. These shorter term trends were all very obvious. They weren't hard to find, and they followed the rules really well of your break and then a move to a new low. So somebody, actually saw somebody made a comment that they really struggled with the day, and they didn't think that their skills were good enough to trade today, but it really was not. In the big picture, you can see prices are swinging back and forth on each side of the EMA. That tells you, hey, it's a trading range day. But generally, there's some nice, you'll find the trends within there, and this one was real obvious. This one coming back down was real obvious. This one going up's real obvious. This one's real obvious. This one's fairly obvious. This one's very obvious. So they're all really obvious setups that you should be able to find. Not real difficult at all. But you got to know how to draw them. I mean, I shouldn't say not difficult at all. If you know how to find the short-term trends and you understand what we're doing, these were not hard to find. I mean, this bigger one's off the first two swings. Most every one of these are off the first couple of swings or the first couple of bars. And you can see that if you go back, if you don't see that, go back and study this chart. Just pause the video and study the chart and look how they're all drawn. Most of them are all drawn off the first two swings, and that's generally how we find them. And I'm guessing there's probably one right up through here too. And you can see that, and you get a close outside. You really got to close out here, but it's not a bearish one. I would have waited for here, and then you got to move to a new high, and you got that trap, and boom. So, and you got two measured legs up for the most part there. So that one wasn't too hard to see either. So anyway, hope that's clear. But pretty good trading day. Uh, about a good trading week. We've had a couple of good weeks here, a few weeks in a row where we're just getting a little more volatility. And even if it's not trending all in one direction, you're getting the trends that are big enough. Um, and that's the thing about a day like that's one of the things about a day like today is that you're obviously not going to be able to join on the trend and stay with it because you'll give back all your profits. And that's the whole idea. Unless you got short today. If you saw this bigger channel and you got short somewhere up here, you probably could have ridden this down. And notice how you got this high and then lower high, lower high, lower high. That's a sure sign that this thing's going lower. I mean, it's just about like standing there on a megaphone and saying, guess what? Don't be trying to get long because look how each new high is lower than the previous one. And even though we didn't make lower lows here than here, each one of these lows is lower than this one's. You got one here, a lower one, and then this next lower one's way down here. Finally, everybody realized and gave up, and they start running everybody's stops, and boom. And we had a couple of moves like that. This one was like that. This was a very, very good setup right here. And a really aggressive trader probably would have went short right there. I like to wait on the second entry and look at that move. Now, like I said, you don't know it's going to fall that far, but if you had a runner going here, it was good. And you can ride it at least to here. And there was an easy place to add back on right here. Even if you'd exited, you get a chance to get back in it. Of course, your runners aren't any good anymore because it comes back and gets them here. But if you got in up here, and you didn't exit here, if you wanted to give it risk a little bit to see what it does, the next obvious place to exit is this one slow down here, and that's exactly where it bounces. So this stuff is not, it's mostly not rocket science. Um, you just have to follow the rules, and if you drew your lines and follow the rules today, you couldn't hardly go wrong. So it doesn't mean it was easy. Don't take that the wrong way. But once you get used to seeing it and you understand what's going on, these kind of days will get easier for you. But you have to be able to trust it, and you have to know, you have to trust your trend lines and your little channels and stuff. And once you can do that, it really helps. So, but anyway, that's about it for today. Not much else we can say about it. I'm going to wrap this one up. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.